Hey guys, what's up? So, I've been playing a game that I think most of you have also been playing, and that's Palworld. So, I was going through this TLDR, I was looking through YouTube videos about great base designs, and I wanted to know how people build their bases, and what tips they would give, and how to breed, and how they would use their farms. Because as you level up your Pal box, you can unlock a max of 3 bases. And so if you're a builder like me, you want to know like how can you build things to make it look good, to make it look efficient, but also like aesthetically pleasing and all those kind of things. So I just thought like, hey, why not make a video and show how I do my base, and maybe someone else will be inspired to upload their video about how they do their base. So this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna go right straight into it. So I spawned right here. I forgot the name of this, Plateau of Beginnings. This is literally the first one I picked and ended up being one of my favorites, or the only favorite, because I haven't tried the other ones. But I love this place, and the reason I love it because I made my base down here. I've seen the YouTube videos where people make their base right here. I wasn't too fond of it because there were like these kind of blocks here and these walls laying here about, and it felt like I needed a more flat land with less rubbles and stuff. So I made my base down there, as you can see. It's all made of stone. I wish I would have made the roof out of wood, but I had PTSD ever since that flaming pal came and burned down my entire house. So I got PTSD and just made everything out of stone. So I haven't really gone all hard at all on the aesthetics. But in terms of functionality, I did try my best. I don't play alone. I play with 3 other guys. So how I build the base, I take into account the 3 other guys who will be using resources and stuff. So I build things accordingly. As you can see, this base is more down there. And what's great about it is that when you get raids, except with maybe the flying pals, but in terms of the ground unit pals, they don't jump over here to attack. They actually go all the way here and follow the route, which makes it easy because all I have to do is wall off the entrance. So that's what I did. I walled off the entrance, and I have pals to jump over, so that's fine. Or you can climb this. It's not a really big deal. Maybe a little inconvenience for those that wants to get in a little bit more faster. But yeah, I'm gonna give you an introduction. This building right here is where I keep all of my pals. Maybe not so smart for the raid, but you know, I had to make the space. And this is what it looks like. Again, I did not go hard at all on the aesthetics. It was more on functionality. Where do I put everything? But let's start with here. This is where I keep all of my pals. I made it like an elevated place. Made these stairs. This is where I put the condensator. I'm sorry if I misspell it. This door right here is where I keep my eggs. Originally, as I started in the base, when I first started building here, I had more incubators, but as I expanded towards the 3rd base, I started taking the incubators and moving it to the 3rd base. So I only have a few here now. If I go upstairs, I made sure that they're built 2 walls high so that every pal possible can actually fit through. So you go upstairs and you see I just made a rows of beds so they can sleep on. A bunch of windows. Coming down here, yeah, I did a little something here because you know I play with 3 other guys and they want to do other stuff as well. So I'm like, yeah, I can put it there, whatever. But yeah, this is the house. One of my friends put a breeder here because he wanted to have 2. So I'm like, sure, whatever. We have the space, go for it. This is the one I put. It's a little bit hidden into the wall like this, just because we didn't have that much space. This is our house. So the way I did it was that before I set it up the base, I made sure to set this pal box. I didn't set the foundations yet, just the pal box, and as I placed it down, I looked around to see if the circle was exactly how I wanted to, or more or less if I was happy with it. And once I was sure that this is the spot where I wanted to put the pal box, then I committed to it and I built the foundations and everything and I placed it here. So this is where I put it. If you want an idea of where I put it exactly, I'll give you a bit of an angle. We'll get there in a bit with the farm. I guess there's a stick here. So if you move that stick here, it's right there to give you an idea if you want to place it exactly like me. But yeah, this is the house. This section here is more of a storage area. So there's an entrance here. And as I go here, I put all of my chests here. Again, I don't put torches because as you level up, you unlock a hip lantern so that it lights up at night for you. So I've stopped using torches altogether, but this is where I keep most of my storage. I think this amount is quite enough. It's generous amount. And I put signs for my friends so they know, because they're not the organizing type. I'm pretty set on organizing things and keeping things tidy, so I do these things. And if you're asking how do I stack these chests, the idea is very simple. You basically use a barrel like this. You place the barrel down as close as you can to the wall. And once you place it, you build it, and then you put another one over here. So I have 2 barrels, one here, one there. You put it as close as you can to the wall. And then when you go build for the chests, with this chest, you don't place it all the way near to the wall. Instead, you place it as forward as you can to the very edge of the barrel, moving like this, because that way you'll give some room to tuck the second chest underneath. So when you're placing this on the barrel, don't put it all the way attached to the wall, but move it more forward like this until you can't any longer, and then you stop and you build it. And that will allow for the second chest underneath to kind of tug in. And what's nice is if I walk up to it, I can access up here. If I look down, I can access down here. I can access up here, and I can access down here just by looking and moving my camera, which is really nice. So I keep my sections like this. It's a 1 by 1. Pretty nice for my storage, easy to access in. I made like a little hallway here so that you can have an access to the back. I don't know how many hot springs we need for the pals, but I just set 2 here and 2 there just in case. I tried to keep my hot springs as close as possible to where most of my pals will be working on. These pals that work in the ranch don't seem to use the hot spring at all. I don't think I've ever seen them. It's mostly the pals that works on the rocks and the wood and the mill and all of those kind of things here. So I just put them near here. As you can see, the turtle shower is taking a bath, taking a good relaxing time. But yeah, and in terms of wood and rocks, I don't feel like I need like more than these, because like 1 alone is enough, because with 1 you can already assign 2 pals. And remember, the game only allows you to have like 15 to 20 pals. So it's not ideal to have so many pals only for one kind of facility. So that's why I feel like 1 is just enough to get this reindeer. I haven't been able to find a good lumber. This one's level 2, so it'll have to do. But as it reels up a nice amount passively, and it stacks up here. Keep in mind that when you're using your workbenches and stuff, all of that is your chests are all connected to it, except for the facilities. Just because there's resources in this facility doesn't mean that it's connected to the workbench. You have to actually collect it and then put it in the chest, and then it'll start registering it that the chest can connect to the workbench. Just so you know, fun fact. But yeah, I think 1 is enough. And for this one, I've assigned originally I forgot the name of that pal. But I usually use tombats. Tombats are really great. You catch them at night. There's a whole section of YouTube and Google. You can Google about it, Tombot. I'm sorry if I'm misspelling it, but I use them to mine ore, just 1 or 2, usually 2, because they also help quite a lot with transporting and crafting. So, or was it? I don't know if they do crafting, but they help a lot with transporting. So, very helpful. This tortoise, I'm not. It farms pretty good, I would say. You can have a look at it. It's a level 1. It has no stars. It has artisan, so it's 50% faster in terms of work speed, and it's level 3 mining. So I use that. What else do I have here? So this farm, I only have 2 farms because again, each ranch assigns you to max 4. So with 2 ranches you have 8, and that's quite a lot already. So in the beginning, I used to have a lot of sheep to provide me a lot of wool, because wool tends to be an early game thing. So I produce as much wool as I could, because it's very easy to catch lambos and to just spam them up here and catch as much wood. And once you're satisfied with the amount of wood, you start diversifying. You start saying, okay, I want 2 chickens, 2 cows, 2 bees, and then two lambos. And then you start passively producing a bit, starting to preparing you to have the ingredients necessary to start making cakes and with cakes, you can also start breeding and getting better pals, just like Ark Survival Evolved. If you play that game, this is basically very similar to it. Not in terms of the mechanics, maybe, but like the idea behind it, it's very similar. So yeah, let me show you what kind of pals I have in my base. So I'm using a dedicated server via Nitrado, and they don't have the settings yet to max it out to 20 pal, but if you're playing a single player in co-op, whatever, you can max out your pal to 20. I wish I could. I guess I'll just have to make do with what I have. So I have a max slot of 15. And so the way I set it up is like this. Just one pal, focus on mostly watering. That's my panking. They're very easy to catch. It's not that difficult. You can go with your friends. I think you find him somewhere along here. Let me see. Yeah, right here. Right here. Let me zoom out. Right here. Level 15 panking. You can get him and capture him. Yes, you can capture bosses that you find. So, oh crap, that's my friend. Hold up. Let me deafen. I'm gonna stream for them. Alright, sorry, I'm in Discord with my friends. But yeah, this is the idea of the PAL box. So, the idea that I have is one watering, one doing the stones. Sorry, I have two watering here. One doing the stones, one doing the woods, one doing the watering. This guy is more of an all-rounder. He does a bit of watering if the pals needs more help. He does handiwork, so if I have to craft something, he'll help me out. He also helps with transporting to carry some loot back into the chest. So he's like an all-rounder. I always keep one or two of those. Laylene is also like that. Laylene is specifically for planting, but because of her stats, like she has handiwork and gathering and medicine, I keep her as a sort of all-rounder. So I tend to have two all-rounders. I can do the things that I usually would be more involved in inside the pal base. And after that, I would just have 2 chickens, 2 cows. That's 1 ranch already, 4 max. 2 lambs and 2 bees. That's already 4. Then you have 2 ranches. So this will start producing passively. Again, in the beginning, you'll probably have like 4 cows and then 4 chickens and then 4 lambs to mass produce. But as you start getting steady throughout the game, you have a steady supply and you don't need as much. So therefore, this is how I have it set up, and I have 2 empty slot open for my friends because they want to breed as well. They want to do breeding, and they're not all of them are big on doing massive breeding. So, like one friend says that these 2 are enough, so 2 slots is plenty enough. So I just leave it like that. I leave 2 slots open for them. This plot here, I thought I needed more wheat, so I put it there. I just made a nice little entrance here. So in terms of facilities, again, if you're playing with more people, it makes sense to have more workbenches because you don't want everyone waiting in line for the bread. I'm sorry, just making. Anyways, you want other things like what is this? This is a quality workbench. So I made 2 quality workbenches, 2 weapon workbenches, 1 sphere because not everyone has to be here all the time. 1 repair table. This is a sphere assembly line. It helps you make spheres higher qualities, maybe a little faster. This one is a production, kind of same concept, makes things a little bit faster. You can use your pals to sign it. And small things that you don't see every day, like pal trinkets, like all of these things. Like our friends are not gonna be here all the time. It's very quick as well, so you don't need something big for it. And a medicine in case the pals get sick. Now in terms of space upstairs, I did make some space, so because some friends like me, we want to put personal things inside our own room. So I just made a hallway here. And again, I made sure there's plenty of room because you're gonna make a lot of these, what would you call these? Assembly lines. You're gonna have several of these assembly lines. And they're gonna have different purposes, and some weapons or gears or things like that, they cannot be made unless you have that specific upgraded assembly line. So make sure you have enough space and think about this. This is one of the higher level ones, I would say. And look at it. That is on level 35, you will get the sphere assembly line 2nd, tier 2. So this one has like 5 blocks of length, so it's quite lengthy. This one is 3 blocks. So that gives you an idea. So I made sure I have space. Again, I play with my friends, so it's like 4 people. So I made sure I made these rooms. Again, I just made a bed here, but you know, as they come and house it, they will start decorating it. Like, my room is over here. I was gonna do something here, but I'll leave that for later because I'm not sure on that. This is my room, for example, just decorating stuff, having the stuff that I need. Do keep in mind that even if you lock your chest, you put a code, other players can access it. But if they're crafting in the workbench, I do believe that your chest will still register with that workbench. So you have to be careful what you put in here. I personally put things like spheres and ammos because like you're not gonna grab those from the workbenches. You produce them, but you don't like grab them, yoink them out. So it's less likely that's gonna happen. But if you had resources like iron ingots and stuff, they will register, I believe. So be careful with that. This is my friend's door. I don't think he locked it. But yeah, he keeps the incubators here in a chest. Very simple, and a campfire. So yeah, this is how I made my base more or less. Again, it's all made of stone. It's not that pretty because I just haven't gotten around the time to decorating. And besides, I got PTSD from having my base destroyed by fire. Whoever, if you know, you know. I won't spoil it. But yeah, this is my first base. It's very nice. As you can see, I tried to make the max use of the circle so that it encompasses this backside. And try to... I would advise, try to not use this circle outside of like where the water is, because it's like wasted space. You could build stuff better on it. So make sure it's flat. This is my base. In terms of defense for raiding, they come in 3 directions, I believe. The first direction is over here. So they will... Oh, crap. They will come from over here and climb up here and then go over here. So I just found it easier to just enclose this whole wall. I will use a flying mount. Maybe it's easier for you guys. I just made this wall just to close it off. And they will actually not go through it. They will try to attack and destroy it. I don't think they do that much damage that they immediately destroy it. But do keep an eye on it. Also, if you have pals that does like AoE damage, like that, you know, that panda with a green mask, I forgot the name, I'm so sorry, but he shoots like bazookas. That damages your structures and everything, so do be careful about things like that. So they come from that entrance, they come from this entrance, the usual road here. So I closed it off again with just walls. There's doesn't seem to be like an entrance to the backside, so I didn't extend the wall. I just closed it over here. And the last entrance they can come through is up here. So I have these walls, as you already know. They close this section off. So you have this whole mass of land to work with. And also, these mobs or these pals that spawn, they actually spawn inside as well. So you'll get your daily production of daydreamers or lambos or cativa. So all of those kind of pals, and your ores will also keep respawning. So that's great. So this is what the base looks like from afar. Gives you an idea. Oh, the wing is kind of blocking it. There you go. This is what it kind of looks like. Yeah, I really love this place. It has a good supply of pallium fragments. These are these blue notes here. They have it over here. They also have it all the way along the river. The whole river that you see, they have all those notes of pallium fragments. So that's a good like basic resources. They have one big note here of ore, copper ore, another big ore over here. Also inside the base you'll have an ore that spawns here. I just didn't need it that much because I found a base that produces it, so that it wasn't an issue for me. It usually spawns here, but because they placed the thingy, it doesn't spawn there anymore. So that would be 3 big ores. What else would you need? You have a bunch of tree for wood, a bunch of rocks for stone. What else? You have a basic supply of pals that you would need for the early game, like lambos for wool, cativas for handiwork, helping you craft or transporting stuff. You also have pals that would spawn here that do planting. They're a little bit tougher to get, but it's possible. So it's just a very nice starting base, honestly, and you have a teleport right there. But No one uses a teleport there because your pal box functions as a teleport. And as important as it is, I don't know for those who don't know, but you do want this bell here. Just in case you get raided, you want to turn this to attack so that your pals defends the base just in case something happens. And I do recommend getting to stone as soon as possible if you have raid turned on, because let's just say you want something sturdy. So yeah, that's my first base over here. All the way along the river. A pretty nice view as well. It's pretty. The map is quite nice to look at, not gonna lie. But yeah, that's my first base. We are going to check the second base. Let me just unmount here, if it will let me. It's not letting me unmount. That's odd. There we go. Little bit of buggy, I guess. I will collect these eggs because, I mean, it's a lot and I don't want them lying around. Look how you can take an idea how much stuff I collect now. Look, 62 honey, 70 eggs, about 20 milk, and almost 200 wool. By the way, 200 wool, that comes from only two lamb balls. These two lamb balls, I upgraded it to a 4-star. I'll show you here in the pearl box. But that has to do with breeding. I don't want to make this video too lengthy. Level 4-star, and I tried to breed it with the best passive skills I thought was best. Like Serious 20% work speed, Lucky 15% work speed, Artisan 50% work speed, Work Slave 30% work speed. Some would say that you might want to have like this, the one that lowers decreases your sanity or something. That you have a less. How do I explain that? It's a sanity drop where the pal will lose less sanity. But I don't feel like that's necessary because you have. Once you get to this point, you will already produce a decent amount of food. You'll have hot springs, so it's not really an issue. I just want them to work as hard as they can, so that's why I went full work speed passive skills instead. But you'll get what I mean as you YouTube other things about how to breed. You'll get what I mean with the sanity drop passive skill. But yeah, this is my base. I will show you my mining base. I put my oh yeah, this base is right here. As I told you, it's in the plateau of beginnings over here. Just take a screenshot. And then we're gonna move all the way up. So we're here. We're moving all the way up. Right here. This is the base. I think in terms of coordinate, that's 189 negative 36. 189 negative 36. That's the base where I set mine. That's the place where I go if I need iron or not iron, sorry. If I need copper or coal, this is the place I go to. I really love this location because it is nighttime. So let's make it daytime. Let me go to sleep real quick. Don't judge me for my character. Can already see those judging. It's not what you think. All right. Gonna summon this guy. I'm gonna mount him if he lets me. There we go. So I love this space. It's if I fly away, it's on top of this hill or cliff. I'm not sure, precipice. I don't know what you would call this, but it's very hard to raid. They cannot get up here unless the raid comes from birds or something. But I've never experienced a raid here. Maybe because the timing was just right every time. But it's very hard for ground units to raid. Like, it's just not possible. They have to come through flying units. So it's very well secured in terms of safety. And what I love about this place is that you don't only have copper ores. You have like 1, 2, 3, 4 that broke there. 5, 6, 7. You have like 7 nodes here of copper ore. But then you have here over here you have coal. You have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6. I'm not sure where the other one is, but you have like about 7 over there and 5 coal ores here. That's so crucial because you need coal for bullets, for gunpowders, for making a lot of things, and you need ore to make ingots, to make weapons, to make armors. Like, you need boats, resources, and the fact that they're all concentrated here and you can get like 2 birds with 1 stone. You don't need to make a separate base for coal. That's great. So I love this place. And the way I set it up is that I made all of these walls to encircle it because pals can walk off the cliff and just unalive themselves. So you want the wall set up first, and once you set your wall, this is where I set my pal box, by the way. Just let me zoom out to give you an idea. Just take a screenshot, I guess. I will zoom out a little bit. That's where I more or less put my pal box down. And what I did was on this side of the land, because you don't want to build here, because if you build here you run the risk of your ores despawning because you've put a structure here. So the only place that has a decent amount of land that you can build on is this side. So it's where towards the blue tower where the snow here is and the big tree. In this side you have a big chunk of land that you can build as far as you can, and it will allow you to house all of your pals. And when I'm setting up a mining base, I'm thinking about food. Just having one here in the center where everyone can come grab is good enough. Having a chest here where they can come put the stuff back in. Having 4 or 3 hot springs, I don't know how much. I think 4 or 3 is a good amount, a good number. But this time I had 5 just in case, just look nice. So I have 5 hot springs here that they can come to. I made sure I build ramps so they can go up and use them. I made these stairs so they can go up to. Again, I'm thinking about having 2 walls high just so that the pals do not get stuck. And I made the beds here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be spread wide. Just like as close as possible to save some space. It's fine. I never had issues with pals who sleep at night outside, that they suddenly get sick or something. As long as you have these beds and it matches the amount of pals in your base, you're good. You're good to go. I put a box here with a furnace here next to it, and every time I want to make iron, I just make the amount, and then a bird will come and he will start producing it, and then when it's done I just grab it and put it back in here. So nice and convenient. But right next to this place I made a little bed, because sometimes my friends don't want to stay the whole night awake. They want to go to bed, so it's daytime, they can see stuff. So I just made a little thing here that you can just chill. Oh. So yeah, and I made a improved furnace. I mean, I could have probably thought of a better location where to put it, but at this point I was kind of lazy. So I just put it here, whatever it seemed more easier for my flying mount or flying pal. So I made just the same concept. You put a improved furnace here to make your refined ingots, and a box right here. Things to make your life easier. And important thing to note, if I'm not mistaken, if you are standing here in this base, your pals will actually produce more ore for you, or harvest more ore for you, or mine more ore for you than they would if you were gone. So if I wasn't on this base, I was on another base, they will start producing less fast. I think this is confirmed, but do like Google and YouTube about it. But I'm pretty sure this is confirmed. I've seen it myself. I've noticed it, the difference. So do keep that in mind, that if you want more stuff being produced faster, just be present, just be in the base, and they will produce a bit faster. So in terms of pal box setup, again, in terms of planting, in order to keep your pals sustainable, that they don't starve to death, I just honestly, you could easily get away with 1 crop of berry, but I just put 2 just because I just want to be careful. But just 1 is enough. You don't need 2, to be honest, if you just want to sustain them. And in terms of pals, just to monitor that, to be responsible for that, I use the bronze cherry. You can use any pal that has planting. And I use the serpent, which is level 2. It doesn't really matter, just because it's level 2, which means it'll do it a little bit faster, or significantly faster. But use whatever you have. The idea is that you have 1 that's planting, 1 that's watering. You can see it on the right side as well. I can press F and you can see here, work suitability, watering level 2. So again, you want 1 that's planting, 1 that's gathering, 1 that's watering, sorry. You want 1 that's doing lumbering, surprisingly, because if you have 1 here that's doing lumbering, or you want 2 doing lumbering at your main base, that's fine. But you want someone doing passive lumbering. I just feel like it's easier to have it 1 here, having 1 deer here, because you're gonna produce charcoal, and charcoal is gonna be important for many things later on throughout the game. As you level up and get to the higher technologies trees, you're gonna need charcoal. So just having it ready on the go, just stacking from the start as soon as possible, saves you a lot of time, especially if you're playing with a group of friends. You know, people love to use a lot of resources, and you always have a little bit less of everything. So you want to make sure you have a good start. And in terms of furnace, I only have two. Like you can get away with one. Like if you can find a pal that's level 2 or 3 in kindling, this is the profession here, kindling. If you can find pallets level 2 or 3, you could get away with just having one furnace because it's significantly faster than the level 1. I will say that. And obviously level 3 means it's even faster, but you could get away with just one. You don't need to. And that way you can make room for something else. But I have two here just because I like efficiency, because one is for ingots, the other one is for charcoal. That way, you know, I don't have to make them wait in line to do the next task. I can just have them do both tasks at once. And in terms of mining, I'd use 3 tombats. Honestly, I would probably like to use more tombats than Anubis, and just for the reason that these animals they're nocturnal, I guess you could say, but they don't go to sleep. A lot of the pals that you will capture, when it starts getting nighttime, they will go to sleep. These are the pals. These Tombat, for example, you can only find them at night. And these pals, once you capture them, I don't ever see them go to sleep. Maybe they go to sleep throughout the day. I'm not monitoring them, but they always seem like working 24/7 to me. So I love Tombats. I use them for mining, for ores. They're great for transporting. They're amazing. So I use them. Honestly, I would probably have more, maybe one more, make it 5 instead. And Anubis, of course, I just have them. I mean, it's one of the earliest pals you can get, that you can breed. They're very great. They're level 4 handiwork, and trust me, guys, handiwork is such a pain in the ass, because as you level up and get higher tier techs, starts getting longer and longer and longer just to craft the stuff that you need. So having an Anubis level 4 makes all the difference. Like, believe me, it's chef's kiss, man. So I do recommend you googling how to do Anubis. I could make a video on that, but again, there's tons of videos out there. There's no point of me doing that. People that do it much better than me. But yeah, I have Anubis here. And keep in mind, if you want your pals to mine copper ore, they need to be level 2 mining, not 1. And if you want them to be able to mine coal, they need to be level 3 mining. So that's just FYI. Other than that, I have mostly pals that are mining, and pals that are mining / transporting, so they can bring the stuff back. Even though that doesn't work that well, because every time I come back, even though they have transporting, there's still a crap ton of ores everywhere on the ground. I guess one way that the pal developers could fix this is probably that each pal would have like a range of stuff in the vicinity that they can grab, and they can grab like a max of 30 at a time. That way it'll be much easier to transport, because grabbing it one by one just doesn't seem that useful to me. So transport is not that amazing in this game at the moment, at least. So the easiest way is just to come here every once in a while and just loot everything and put them in the chest. It's faster that way. But yeah, that's how I set it up. Other, like this guy over here, he does gathering. So the way I set it up is planting, watering, gathering, because you want someone to gather the harvest, and then you need someone with transporting to grab the harvest and bring it to the chest. It's a little bit of it's a little bit odd. I would figure that gathering would grab the stuff and then put it in the chest, but no, it's only harvesting the crops. But it throws the crops right on the plot, and then someone with transporting has to come to grab it and put it in the chest. So it's like you need 4 things. You need the planting, the watering, the gathering, and then the transport profession. So that's how I have my setup for the mining base. It has served me very well. Very well. It has made us very happy, because ingots and coal, especially for bullets. If you have friends that love bullets and shooting, it's gonna use up so much resource. And just to find this base, this location that has the best of both worlds that you can harvest is just amazing. If you have a bunch of if you have like half of the amount of your pals in the pal box is Anubis, they will usually prioritize the coal first. And if you have Tombats, because they're level 2, they'll only go for the ore. So you already have 2 different pals like delegating their tasks. So I just find this absolutely amazing. By the way, these are one of the breedable birds as well that you can get early game. I recommend you Google or YouTube that if you want to have a nice early start. If you want to find out things on your own, obviously don't do that. Also, pro tip, there will be moments where some of your pals sometimes get stuck, like this reindeer, and he's hungry. And the best way, you can either go, grab, pick him up, and just drag him out and throw him out, or you can go to the pal box here, go to this deer, go to an empty tap, just put him in the slot in the box here, and then drag him back into it. That way you will unfreeze him, so he's no longer stuck in that wall. And then he'll start eating and then going about his day. So this is my base, guys. It's a little bit simple, I would say. And the third base that I just made recently is my breeding base. Again, it's not aesthetically focused. It's more like in terms of functionality, because my friends wanted to breed as fast as possible and get the best pals and fun pals to get. Oh, we are being raided. Perfect. So I like this location, and I'll show you why. I think they haven't raided me. They usually come to this wall here. They get stuck there. I'm not sure. By the way, if you want a great pal for defense, I can recommend you the panda. I'm gonna look for it right now, actually. Where is it? This guy. This guy. I recommend you this guy. Oh, this one's level 1. Hold up. I want a higher level. Yeah, 35 is fine. So I'm gonna summon him real quick. And I'll tell you why. This guy is great. Like, no matter how many mobs comes, what I love about him is that does AoE damage. But as you can see, this base location is located here. Right in this plot of flat land. It's right next to your first tutorial quest tower, which is the Tower of the Rain Syndicate. Again, I can zoom out for you for a little bit. It's right here. Next to the red biome here. So the reason I love this is because, again, raids don't easily come up here. The only way they could come is... Yeah, that's a good question. I think the only way they could come... Let me check. Yeah. Let me check because I'm not sure either. Yeah, they can only come through here. I think this is the only entrance they can come through. Because I've never seen them come from up here. Even though I put walls up there where the church is. I put walls up here, but they never seem to come. And look, they're coming right now. Even flying mounts, they don't fly all the way over here. They actually go throughout the routes. Which is very interesting. As you can see, they just get stuck there. They don't fly up, they don't come over here. So technically, you don't even have to care. If you wait a while, they will leave on their own. And the raid will be over. So again, a very easy place to build your breeding farm without the worries of being raided. And if you want, you can, like, obviously, you know, do damage and try to catch them. But yeah, it's very safe here. I really like it. I will go on the bird so you have an idea of what it looks like. Over here. I'm gonna zoom out. So over there is the church. This should help with putting this into perspective. So the only road they could come is through here. But it's walled off, so they just can't. They also can't go through up here anyways. I just put a wall just in case. And there's a little cliff back here in the backside. But again, I put a wall over there. But I've never seen them raid from up there. So I don't think it's necessary for you to put a wall there either. And yeah, as you can see, it's a very flat land. It's a perfect circle and plenty of room to work with. And pro tip, you can build your house outside of the circle. The only things you want to have in your circle are for facilities or things that you need pals for. So if you need pals to work a facility like a breeding building or whatever, or to use a hot spring, or to charge a battery throughout the late game, there will be like batteries that you can charge with pals. They all have to be inside the circle. But you can build a house, a building outside of it, put your bed and chest and work table if you want to have more space capabilities. That way it doesn't have to be inside. So that's another nice thing to know. As you can see, this house, I built a little house here, or a little shed you could say. This is where I keep up my bed and everything. I build it right outside of the circle here so I can go sleep. And literally, the only thing inside of this base are things that I need to put into perspective. I build a little crop here, because then this crop can only be harvested and used and worked on if it's within the circle. So I have to have it here, but in terms of a house and everything, you can just have it outside. So that's great. Again, there's a pal stuck in here, but we'll get to that later. I have this is my breeding base. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't count. 3, 6, 7. I have 7. That's 14, and one extra slot for whatever. So that's 7 breeding buildings. I have 3 hot springs because again, I think with the new update, 1.4, 1.3 already. I think it's 1.4 the new update. If you put the pals inside the breeding building, they don't need to be fed anymore, and they don't seem to go to the hot spring either because it's like they're being taken care of already. You're giving them the most expensive, well, not the most expensive, I don't know, but you give them a really good cake that requires several resources to make. So that's great. It doesn't seem to need a hot spring, but I have it there just in case. And so you just dump it in here and then you're done. Obviously, I do have things that I would like here, so I have a banking because he's a good all-rounder to make a refrigerator for me so it keeps my food from spoiling. Fun tip or pro tip, if you want your food to not spoil, just go to your inventory or the inventory of your chest and just click sort. It will automatically reset the timer. So if I do it again, look at the egg, 9 minutes 55, reset 10. And so that's a trick you can do if you don't want your food to spoil. I do have the banking as an all-rounder because, again, I do want to turn the wheat into flour so that the flour can be used to make cake. Most of my resources to make cake is on my main base, so they're already producing the eggs, the milk, the honey. The only thing missing is the wheat, so I have 1 wheat over here just in case, just to make it here to save up some slots at my main base. And I keep the beds right next to the breeding, just so they can get there faster, I guess. It's okay if not all of your pals go on the bed, because as long as you have enough beds to house, you could say, all of your pals, they don't need to be on it. It's fine. They're not gonna get sick or anything, so don't worry. I have my incubators there. Like, it doesn't really matter where you place them. I just place them wherever it's convenient, where it's open, where it doesn't get in the way, and cooking pots on each side, just in case if my friends wanted to show up and say, hey, I want to cook. I put some cooking pots. I did make it very spacious, so a cooking pot there and one here and one there, because I realized that if I put them right next to each other, if you have a bird like this guy who's pretty big and you want him to fire up your cooking pot and start cooking stuff for you, if the cooking pots are very close to each other, they're gonna get stuck, and they're gonna do things like this right now, as you can see. He seems a bit bugged, so I'll grab him later. But yeah, they'll do stuff like that, so keep your cooking pots far away. Also, if you're gonna put incubators and you need campfire to make them worms so that they hatch earlier, make sure it's away from all the pals, because they will walk over it and start burning. So I have mine like that. Again, this is not smart, because if they walk, they will get burned. But it's whatever, man. So far, no accidents. So why change it? Am I right? But yeah, this is my breeding base. It's nothing fancy or complicated. The only thing that I care about is whether or not I will have hassles in terms of rate. I do like rates because they're good XP and I can capture pals that I haven't seen before and level up faster. But I do care about the walls and the flat land. How flat is it, and whether or not it's good to defend against raid. That's all I care about, and if those two criteria match, I will build a base. Obviously, for the first base, it's a different story because you need to take into account all the other resources that you would want nearby. And by the way, this location right here is a nice place to build a base, and I will tell you why. And again, in this location, I've already showed you before, but what I do like about it is that, hey, there's a bunch of pallium. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but there's a lot of these fragments all around over here, all the way down to the river, all the way. So you can get all of the fragments here. Not only that, but this tower right here, the first tutorial tower, there's usually a cave right next to it. Sometimes it'll be gone. Yeah, right now it's gone. But afterwards, they'll come back and there'll be like a little cave here that you can enter in an instant. And once you enter that, Right at the entrance, there's two big fragment ores that you can mine and get easily 250, 300 ores. So it's a great area for fragments farming. It's a great area for ore farming as well, because if you go here, where the church is, you will find a bunch of ores that you can mine. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have 9 big ore nodes to mine. So that's great. You have a reliable source of ores right next to your base to mine. You have a bunch of trees, you have a bunch of rocks, you have a bunch of fragments. The only thing you're probably missing is coal. So that will be an issue later on, but as a first base starter, this is not a bad location at all. And as you build a second, third base, you can worry about coal and all the other stuff later. And it's right next to this little cave, so you can keep farming it every time for new ores, because there's also copper ores in that cave over there. And I think one big note of sulfur, which you will need to make bullets, all in this little cave that you can farm early game as soon as possible. Is in the vicinity of great pals that you can tame. Like, I say tame, but it's actually capture. Sorry, I've been playing Ark Survival. You have these reindeers you can capture and use as mounts. They tend to spawn in abundant here, so that's an early game. You have a lot of these cremis. I captured them, but I don't know what they're for, really. There's a bunch of Lambos here as well, and Fixies. Fixies are great because they will produce a decent amount of spheres, so that you don't have to constantly craft them. So it's a nice location. It's a bit of a center of this whole region here. So it's just a very nice base location, I would say. I do like this one over here better, just because I'm lazy to travel all the way here. But you know, if you can make this your first base, it's a solid choice. It's a really good choice. But yeah, this is what my base looks like for the first one and second one and the third one. Let me know what you guys think about how you guys handle your base, what it looks like. If you have a YouTube video of how it looks, just, you know, put it in the comment section. I'm always ready to be inspired and get fired up for buildings. Honestly, this game is great because I didn't expect the building to be already that fun for me. Like, what makes it fun for me is that building is convenient. It makes things look good. It's practical, and they reward you for building. Like, your pals are actually useful to help you manage the base. Having a base is actually useful because it produces the things that you need for your character, for breeding, making better pals. So it serves a purpose for the base. It's not just for the sake of building and make it look pretty, but it's actually, there's a functional aspect to it. And not only that, like, the whole building experience is already so fun because I don't have to gather all kinds of resources to build a single stone foundation or a wall. Like, all you need is rocks. Just go mine rocks, like 100 rocks, and you can build a solid base already out of wood or out of stone. So that's what I like about the building aspect. They took away with the hassle of gathering all the materials, and you can just go straight away and start building whatever the hell you want. And the best part is, you can dismantle your resources. Oh yeah, for those who don't know, no, you don't have to keep breaking them by melee attacking. Just press B if you're on computer, because I don't know what it is for console, but if you're on computer, press B and then press C. You're gonna see down here disassembly mode, and you can destroy it. And guess what? You get all your resources back. So you press B again. Oops. Press B again, go to foundations, and you place it. That's amazing, because if you don't like how your base looks, that's fine. Just disassemble all of it. You get all your resources back. And then you can do it even better. So it's amazing. I am really having fun with this game, guys. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys on another video. I don't think I'll make another one, but if you guys want to see more, you know, I'll be happy to make some more. Alright, guys. I'm done for today. Take care.